Dobry den.
Or dobre utro, or dober večer, depending on when you're watching this. We thought we'd change that a bit.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yes, it's been an interesting week. How did we start the week?
Well, we start last Friday after we did our video. We went off to visit somebody who's been living out here for 15 years.
Yes.
And has several properties over in Voditsa. And it was lovely to go and have lunch and spend some time with her. She's done a lot of natural earth building. And it was excellent to see the work she'd done there.
Yes, she used to do a blog, which we followed quite closely. It was one of the influences for bringing us out here.
Yes, a long time ago that was.
So it was nice to meet her, and we had a lovely afternoon.
Yes, and that was the last of our hectic week last week.
After that, we could relax.
Yes, so we've been pottering around ever since.
Yes. There has been the looming job, which of course is the Cess Pit repair. We have started that. We've come up with a plan, and it goes a bit like this. We're continuing with what I'm calling Project Cess Pit, the repair of our Cess Pit lid. What I've done over the weekend is I've levelled out this area in the large barn, basically by digging down and flattening it out. And I've got two full sheets of plywood underneath, two full sheets of OSB underneath some plastic. That gives me a flat surface area of 2.5 meters square. Now it's cutting it a bit tight because the planks I'm making need to be 2.4 meters, not 2.5, but they should fit within the space. They're going to have rebar running through them, and they're going to be made up of some quite strong concrete. I've been looking into concrete mixes and all the rest of it. It seems the more concrete to sand to aggregate I put in there, the stronger it'll be, and also the drier the mix I make, the stronger it will be. So I kind of know what I'm supposed to do with it. My next stage is to make the formers and go from there. So I've now cut the wood for both the side bits and the end bits and the rebar. Now we haven't actually mentioned what our plan is for repairing this. We're going to make concrete planks, the size of which will be 20 centimeters across or 8 inches, 5 centimeters deep or 5 inches, and 2.4 meters long or somewhere around about 8 feet. Now we're going to make these so that we can move them into position, put them across the gap in the cess pit, and then pour a second pad of concrete on top of them. So for me to be able to do that, I now have to make up the formers. So we now have 5 formers. The rebar will have to be chopped up in the middle so that it's held in the middle of the concrete when it's poured, but it's ready for pouring. There are 5, I need 14 in total, so 2 batches of 5 and a batch of 4. So that's why I've done 5. Won't get around to pouring it today, so I'm going to leave that for the morning. So we set up the area we're mixing the concrete. I've got the sand and the gravel on the tarp over the back there. We've worked out that it's 2 half buckets of gravel, 1 half bucket of sand and half a bag of cement, about 5 to 6 litres of water. And that should be each batch. Give us a nice strong concrete. We've just got to find out now how far it goes. So that's the first 5 planks made. They've all been set into the formers. We've got to leave them for 2 to 3 days before we can take the formers off, allow them to harden up. You can see the nearest one has already had the Engelbert seal of approval. That is a cat paw print, bless him. So I've just sprayed them down to keep them from drying out too quickly. I'm going to cover them in plastic to contain the moisture. It'll help it cure slower, which will make it stronger. You may have noticed throughout this whole project, strength seems to be the key. I don't want this happening again, so I'm going to take every precaution I can. So once I've covered them up, that's me done for the day, and we'll then just leave them for a couple of days. Keep spraying them down every 4 or 5 hours, every 6 hours, well, whenever I remember, just to keep them from drying out too fast, which will help prevent cracking. And then it's on to the next stage. So I've now had the planks covered over for the last 2 days with the plastic. They've been sprayed a couple of times, not too much, because the plastic is keeping the moisture in. So let's have a look how they're doing. You can see they're still a little bit damp on top, which is what I was after really. They're starting to set up quite slowly, which is adding to the strength of them. So we'll give them another day or so, then uncover them, let them dry out a bit more, and then I can reuse the moulds on the next set. This appears to be going to be quite a slow job, just waiting for the concrete to set, but I'm sure there'll be stuff I can do in the meantime, so I'll cover them back over and let them set. It's been a day and a half since I last checked the planks to see how they're drying out. You can see from this that the light areas are the parts that have dried quicker than the darker areas. This is usual apparently, but it does mean that I am getting a nice strong bond as the concrete sets. So I'm going to cover it back over, as I may have mentioned previously. Although we want to get this job finished, I'm not going to rush it and spoil it, just for the sake of a couple of days. So I'm going to cover it over, leave it again. I was hoping to show you one of the planks out of the formers, but I'll have to wait till next week. So we'll carry this on then. Yeah, so our plan is to make 14 of those cement planks, lay them over the gap so they're touching and meeting and covering up the entire space. And then we're going to pour a large concrete slab over the top of it. This hopefully will solve the problem.
I think you should do.
Yes, it was the best way we could think of repairing it without having to get down into the cess pit, which I didn't really want to do.
Yeah, and we're not going to cover it up with earth afterwards. We're going to cover it up with some pine
mulch or bark or something like that. We may put our greenhouse on top of it, depending on how brave we're feeling.
Yes.
Watch this space, as I say.
But that way we can check it, see if it has cracked or anything.
Yeah.
We can keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
If we don't cover it back up with earth. So make sure there's no further problems.
But the one thing about this particular job is I can't do it all in one go because I have to wait for the concrete to set on the planks before I can use them.
Yes, we can't make up 14 formers at once.
I haven't got room.
Wood.
Haven't got room, haven't got wood. So we're going to be fitting lots of little projects in between, so there'll be some diversity coming in the jobs we're doing over the next few weeks.
Yes, we've got a few snagging jobs left in the kitchen to do, and
the back room, the steps, and just generally going around and doing the bits we need to do. So outdoor stuff, the constant never-ending strimming battle. It is that time of year.
It definitely is. But the garden is coming on, and as soon as we get a nice sunny day, we'll take some footage of that.
Yes. Lynn's also waiting for the poppies to come out. Because they're quite spectacular.
Yeah, we have Poppy Alley, don't we?
We do, yes. So hopefully we'll be bringing that next week.
Should do.
Hopefully.
We have had a mixed bag weather-wise.
Yes, we've had some good days, some rainy days. According to Nelly, our Bulgarian teacher, that's half of the course in May and June when you get the rainy days. So we just remember it being warmer last year, but
I think it definitely was warmer last year.
as we only kind of film on sunny days, our videos don't really tell us. So well, we'll get used to the seasons and when stuff happens.
There is a national holiday coming up in Bulgaria this week.
Yes, there'll be nothing official open. For Wednesday is the day of Cyril and Methodius devising the Bulgarian alphabet.
Yeah, it's a celebration of the Bulgarian alphabet and also the day of enlightenment and culture.
Yes, it's also Lynn's birthday.
Yes, it's quite handy that every year is a public holiday of my birthday.
Yeah, because you can take a day off from work.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully be carrying on this next week as we have this week, pottering around, getting into cooking more.
Yes.
Now that I've got a kitchen.
And just generally doing the things we kind of need to do and want to do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about it for us this week.
Yes, I think you're fully up to date with us. So until next week, it's time to say...
Do skoro.
Do skoro.